Hello and welcome back to Stackhouse Knives down here in Wellington, New Zealand. Thank you very much for watching. So in a previous video, you can click that video here and that'll link you to the previous video, but if you've already seen that, stay tuned because we're going to be transforming the Tsuba into an actual sword guard. So the last step I need to do is cut a slit. I'll probably be drilling 2 little holes in the Tsuba and then cutting and sawing with a little jeweler's, like a little tiny baby saw. I want to saw out a slit. That slit is going to go and slide onto the tang of the sword. So I'm going to disassemble the sword, I'm going to take the tang off, and I want to be able to make that slide on nicely inside this gap in here. So I've got that as a reference. I need to measure the thickness of the tang and get that guy to slide on there. What I'll probably also do to make it fit nice and comfortably is add another metal spacer between the Tsuba, so that'll sit underneath this part of the sword and you won't be able to see it underneath. But the idea is that I've got the Tsuba matching up to the habaki, this component here, and then it will join and be kind of fitted. So not that exciting, it's just cutting a hole in the thing and making it fit, but we're going to be doing it, and hopefully this will be the final parts of the sword, and then you guys can see it in all its glory. Watch this little bit of bamboo out. Sometimes they get kind of stuck. There we go, got it out. You can see it's just holding in there on the other end. So I'll probably make another pin for this when I do the final fit, but for now we want to disassemble things, so I want to be able to pull this guy off like so. That's the fit there. Okie dokie, I need those guys, the sword itself, the Tsuba. Alright, and little wheelie chair. Ugh. Okay, cool, so that's what we're going to be doing, so I'm just going to take a measure. So that guy is, I'll take a measure just from a little bit under, and I can make a really nice fit. So it's about there. That is 26.2 mil. Write that down. 26.2. I'll take a measure from here. Now this is the trickier one because it's thicker on the back of the knife, or the blade should I say, than the front. So that's exactly 5 millimeters. How thick is it up here? 5.5 mil, and then it tapers gradually, has a distal taper along the end. So I'm not going to run into any high spots when I go to fit this guy, and I made sure that it tapers nicely, so I'm not going to have a hard time fitting it. The total width of it, fine center, and it's not perfectly round either, but again I'm just these measurements will act as a guide more than anything. Once we've got our 26.5 mil, so that's the height we're going to be working with. So I'm just going to lay it up here and just scratch, let the calipers kind of rock on one side. So I'm scratching one side like that, and then I'm going to put it there and scratch the other side. And again, this doesn't matter too much, this will be easy to polish back. Center punch, and then I can drill 2 holes, so yeah. Alright, so I'm going to lay this one down like that. I want it a little bit further in because it's a big drill bit, and I don't want to drill outside of that measurement. So on there, groovy to me. Cool, we're going to do that. See, hold it this way so you can see. Done. Next one. And I am just being lazy and using a hand drill because this stuff is super soft to work. And yeah. Oh no, I've run out of power. Right, let's squeeze a little bit of power out of this new battery. Come on, do it. I'm going to rest this guy on here like that, just so I can see how it's all going to fit. That looks really good. That looks really, really good. Okay, so we've got our holes drilled. Now we're going to be doing the sawing, or the piercing, as it's called. So the idea is we need to use a saw frame, which is one of these guys here, and it has a tiny little thin blade on it. Looks like a piece of hair. See if I can focus it on my camera. Nope, doesn't even want to focus. But first off, I need to clamp this guy here, thread this on like so, and then clamp it. We can't see on that angle, but I'm putting compression on the back of the handle a little bit so that the blade can make this little noise here, and the Tsuba's on there like that. So it's kind of like how a scroll saw works. Your time, do not rush it. So I'm working really slowly. I may do a time lapse of this, but yeah. Oh, hang on. Whoops. There we go. Oh, it popped out too. Look at that. Woohoo! Amazing. So now I've got my little flat needle file. So I come in from the top and start filing along my peg. So I've got like a straight line just here. I'm resting the file up along there so I know where I'm going. Also make sure that I'm nice and flat when I'm working. I can alternatively come this way if you want to file it, so you can come in here. As long as you've got that peg to help kind of guide you. This one's a little bit big for this, but you get the general idea. Go back vertical again, nice and square. Okay, let's see if this guy fits. Hopefully it does. So it's taken me about 10-15 minutes or so. So slide that guy over. Now friction should be my best friend. Oh my gosh, it is. So there's a little bit of a gap on that one side. I think it's just because the hibaki's not sitting perfectly square. No, it's not. Right. Now I gotta take this dude off. And marry it all up. So there's a high point just up here, or a low point, sorry, it's here. Nice and tightly, there we go, click, nice little click. There's a little bit of burr from the file. Obviously when I reassemble this guy, all of this I'm going to give it a good clean up. But that sits on there quite nicely. Now, to make sure this guy fits on nice and smoothly. Oh, I'm not going to be able to put weight on it that way. I'm going to be able to do it this way. Nice. Cool. Okay, so I just made a little leather spacer for this tang, so because the leather's good because it stretches and also doesn't have any movement after, because it's quite compressible, whereas a metal spacer would be it won't compress. So if there's play, you're going to know about it. So with some encouragement, I've got that spacer in there, that leather spacer, so that's just sort of sitting above. I hammered it down to compress it a little bit. Now it's a nice fit. It's actually just a bit too fat, but now what I'm going to too fat. Now it's just a little bit too tight.
Now I'm going to be getting this little bamboo chopstick, which I use just to fit things. Now I'm going to be hammering that in a little bit, and that's going to tighten everything up. But at the moment I've got literally no play in the top of the habaki and the Tsuba now, which is really awesome because that's exactly what you want. And because the two holes are like, they're off center like that, basically the taper is going to help pull them together, and that's going to pull the whole handle in and tighten it all up. That's in theory anyway. So let's get this guy in here. You can actually, if I can show you, the hole is probably kind of hard to see, but it's slightly off center. It's not quite centered. Just squeeze that pin in a little bit. I don't want it to go too far, so we'll have to disassemble this guy. Now I'm just going to break off the excess and then break this guy off. Really happy with that fit. Just going to file the bamboo down a little bit so it's not so sharp on my hands, so I can get a good feel for it. A little bit on this side as well. Cool. So again that bamboo is gonna fatigue a bit, so I'll probably use something a bit tougher, maybe a hardwood peg that's tapered that'll go in there. But that's okay. It's still, there's absolutely no wiggle in here, even if I'm going forward and back like that. I think there's if anything, just a little bit of play at the back of the handle, down underneath here, but nothing really to be too fussy about.
So that's the Tsuba. So that fits really nicely. The leather spacer worked out really well. So it is lifting it about 1 millimeter from the actual Tsuba. I don't really mind about that. Having that Tsuba on there really makes it feel like a sword now, and it feels really, really nice. I don't know if I'm going to go through and do videos on doing the end cap and maybe the handle wrap. I might just do posts through Instagram and Facebook. But if you would like to see me do the handle wrap and the end cap in a video, let me know. I just don't feel I'm going to have enough time for the show, but if you want to see that, let me know down in the comment section. That would be awesome. But yeah, that's the sword itself. It looks really, really cool now, having a Tsuba there. Yeah, and thank you very much for watching. So if you are new to the Stackhouse Knives channel, you should totally subscribe and click that bell notification on the bottom of your screen. That'll give you notifications on when the next Stackhouse Knives video will be out and ready and published. And if you like this video, instead of smashing it with a hammer, you could cut it with this really sharp sword. You could just go whoosh and chop the finger off like that. Anyway, that was a bit silly. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. You take care.